Hi investigators, Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy with this week's riveting episode 243 of Spy Curious, the weekly program for private, government and corporate investigators. And I'm full of news this week, people, and full of information that I'm really proud of. G'day, Jamie. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for checking in. Better bring you up. Hope things are good down in Victoria. Xavier, mate, great to have you back. I'm well. I hope you are too, buddy. G'day, Jack. Good to see you, mate. Xavier and Jamie, I was down in Melbourne this week. I wasn't in Canberra, Amber, but I wish I could have been. It looked lovely over there as I flew over it. G'day, mate. How you going? I hope you're well. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in, buddy. All right. So this week, I've got a heck of a lot of stuff to get through, and you're going to find some actually really useful information. But first of all, it's that time of year where the government departments and the investigation agencies are preparing for their job vacancies and their capacity building for next year. So this time of year, people, if you check out our Facebook page for job vacancies, when I bring it up, there it is. That's our Facebook page for job vacancies, but that's job vacancies. Here's our Facebook page, job vacancies, Australian private investigator, corporate investigator jobs. You're going to find an absolute abundance of jobs over in that Facebook page. That began this week, so state and federal government departments are advertising quite extensively. So let's have a look at some of the ones that are on that Facebook page. So here we go. There's Pat Henderson from Surefact. He's looking for investigators in New South Wales and Victoria and Queensland. This is what Pat looks like in real life. There he is. Don't tell him I'm making fun of him every week here. So get in touch with Pat Henderson, or Brew as we like to call him, and apply for work there with Surefact. Clarity Workplace Solutions, they're hiring. Care. I was only speaking to Surefact hiring. ISGR. Whoops. Here we go. So VMA are looking for investigators Australia-wide. If you're a licensed private investigator and you'd like a job with VMA, they have 3 extra vacancies available right now, people. So get in touch with vendor management. ISG are looking for investigators, and you'll see in a minute they're offering a car, laptop and phone with the package that they want for you. In Melbourne, they're looking for, at the Victorian Institute of Teaching, they're looking for an investigator manager down there, and they're paying up to $171,934 for that role. Now, for that role, you're going to need to have a diploma of government investigations to manage investigations and earn that kind of income. G'day, Chantel. Great to see you. Hope you're well. Flew over Kingscliff on Wednesday. I thought I saw your house there, Chantel. Absolutely lovely near the beach there. So job vacancies, currently, there's quite a bit. Get on our Facebook page and check them out. Investigative Services Group, ISC, you see in blue, it says there, right, Andrew, Australian Security Academy graduate, Andrew, is offering you a remuneration of $75,000 a year, company vehicle, mobile phone and a laptop. So you don't even have to buy your investigation tools. They're all supplied for you. That's great by ISG. Well done, guys. Department of Energy and Public Works in Brisbane, looking for senior investigation officer. Again, you're going to need a diploma for that one. Factual Investigator National from Allied Universal. So Allied Universal are looking for investigators everywhere. Tash got in touch with me this week. He was seeking investigators in Victoria, but Victoria and Perth and New South Wales, they're looking for them, and Queensland now. A senior security investigator for PRA in Sydney. This is going on forever. A fraud investigator. This one's in Sydney as well. Just jump on our Facebook page, you'll see all these jobs, and keep in mind they want an incident response officer for the Department of Education down in Victoria. The investigator for the Department of Education in Victoria was sitting in his office and the phone rang. And this farmer said to him, mate, you've got to come down and do something about this trainee you sent me. And the investigator says, why? What's the problem? And the farmer says, he's knocking off my pigs. Then the investigator goes, all right. So he drives right down past Geelong for an hour and a half, goes in to see the farmer. And he says to the farmer, all right, can you give me a state? And the farmer goes, yeah, all right. So the investigator goes, how many pigs did this guy steal? And the farmer looked at him and said, he's not stealing them, mate. He's knocking them off. That's a true story from the Victorian Department of Education. If you want to roll doing that sort of thing, and that investigator had to drive that trainee back to his house after work that day. So if you want to do that kind of work, get in touch with the Victorian Department of Education with your diploma of government investigation and apply for that role. G'day, Tony, down in Adelaide. Great to see you, mate. Good to see you. Got those jobs coming up in Adelaide. Got a job for everybody. Compliance and Enforcement Officer is what required in Brisbane for the Residential and Tenancies Authority. Child Protection Officers are wanted in Victoria. A lot of people do that kind of work. Executive Protection Agent from Panoptic Solutions. If you're working in security risk management and you have a security guard license, I don't think you can do better than work for Panoptic Solutions. Highly recommended. They've been clients of the Australian Security Academy for years. They're great people at Panoptic Solutions. Deputy Director of the Police Association of Tasmania. There's a job role there on our Facebook page for that one. And here we go. They want to pay you for illegal dumping surveillance officer at Logan City Council in Queensland, just underneath Brisbane in Queensland. That ad says if you apply today, you'll practically start tomorrow. So if you're a licensed private investigator, you want to do surveillance and you want to see people dumping mattresses with suspicious things on them and stuff like that in the bush where they're not supposed to, and get paid $45 an hour to do it, get in touch with the Logan City Council, get on our Facebook page. There's a football association looking for a casual sort of investigator for a role with the compliance with their association and looking after children, that sort of thing. So there are lots of job vacancies throughout Australia. Now, keep in mind, this is Friday, and I'm too busy on Fridays to put up Friday's jobs vacancies, so I haven't even put them up yet. So that's quite an interesting one. G'day, Joy. It's okay. You haven't missed all that much. yeah, nothing like having a rant with your lawyers. Illegal dumping investigator, that's what they need in Taj. It's a huge problem down there. Yeah, it is. My word. Hey, Kelly, how you going? Great to see you. All right, go up to the top of the hill and it'll be stable, all right? Stick around, everybody, because I've got a great question this week about security of information and what happens when your security is compromised if you lose a report, statement or instruction. So stick around for that one. You'll have some fun with that, people. Yeah, where was I? Oh, big news this week. I'm really proud of this. This is really great news. If you remember way back in Spry Curious, episode 56, we had Dr. Warren Dowdle come in and give us a presentation on his security risk management books. And you can order his books online. They're freely available if you just Google Dr. Warren Dowdle, that sort of thing. But big news this week, Dr. Warren is now Professor Dr. Warren Dowdle, and he is actually working as a professor at the Edith Cowan University in Western Australia. So that is really great news. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but when I was talking with Dr. Warren, I went off script when he was talking to me, and I was talking in our presentation about shot firing. Now, because I've got a background in mining, I had to get a qualification in shot firing to use explosives. G'day, Joy. All right, so I had to get that qualification to use explosives. And Dr. Warren has a military background, and we started a little bit of off-script banter about using explosives, because as you sort of get into the field of whatever you're going to do, you start acquiring a lot of high-level qualifications. Diploma of Security Risk Management was one both Dr. Warren, Dr. Professor Warren and myself both had. Here's what we said. That's a really good example. I have a background in mining, and I've got lots of fantastic qualifications, but my shot firing one is what I'm most proud of. So I like blowing things up. I really enjoy that. I'm sure, Warren, you used to too. It's something that you just love.
I love shooting things. Blowing things up is my favourite always. And machine guns.
Yeah, I haven't been there. But
It
one
doesn't
day
pay the
down
bills,
line.
unfortunately.
So that's two big grown-up boys talking about having fun blowing things up. It reminded me of a movie called Armageddon, where they did exactly the same thing.
Piece of cake. Look, you want to compare brain pans? I won the Westinghouse Prize when I was 12. Big deal. Published at 19, so what? I got a double doctorate from MIT at 22. Chemistry and geology. I taught at Princeton for 2.5 years. Why do I do this? Because the money's good, the scenery changes, and they let me use explosives, okay?
There are three pretty good reasons to hold a Diploma of Security Risk Management. And people say to me, oh, yeah, it's all blokey and all that sort of thing. Don't be fooled by that. There's plenty of ladies out there with the Diploma of Security Risk Management operating units.
I was playing with titanium depth gauges when I should have been playing with dolls. I learned about the birds and the bees from Freddie Noonan's tattoos. I was raised on Roughnecks by you.
So that's the same movie as the one prior to it about explosives and qualifications. So, yeah, a lot of fun with security risk management over the last week. Now, Max, who's a graduate of the Australian Security Academy, has written into me this week, and he's given us a heads up about a great fun game that you as an investigator can play. Now, the link's in the description. Don't go there now. You've got to watch this. The link's in the description. You can play it tomorrow or you can play it later tonight, but it's about who is a super recogniser. Let's have a look at part one of what this game's all about that Max has sent us all the way from WA. Okay, people, to become a super recogniser, fill in the requested data information in the form. The link is into the description below. You've got to watch these photographs of these random people so you can take part in the exercise. So all this is through the link. It's through the New South Wales University, this one, and they're looking for super recognisers as part of their research. So I've sped this video up. There's gaps in it so that people can check the identity visually and check their eye colour and eyebrows and dimples, that sort of thing. Then once you've seen those, the next stage they put you through is to proceed and try and separate these people from a group of 3 other people. So they give you a little practice first, and that practice is with a simple Simpsons test, so you can practice moving them to the left or to the right. So what you'll be doing is each one of these individuals, you've got to remember who they are and separate them from 3 similar people by moving them to the left or right. This is a really fun game, and you get a score at the end that tells you how good a super recogniser you are. So this is the first part. You've had a look at all these people. The next part, you're going to separate them into real or fake. So the challenge is there. Can you do the next part where you separate them into real or fake from 3 other lookalikes and beat my score? Can you do it? It's a pretty high score, so the benchmark for the title holder has been set. Let's see what score I got. Okay, so after practicing with the Simpsons, you get the real one. So you have to now separate the photographs onto the left or right to say if they're real or they're not real of the original photo. There's the original photo. Now you separate these ones to say they're all not, or some are, some aren't. 2 are, 1 is, 3 aren't. Okay, so that's what you do in part 2 of this one. Now, you never call a subject the target. This is New South Wales University's terminology that they're using here, because they're not private investigators. They have no idea what happens in the real world. They're just internet designers. So you never ever say target when you're looking at photographs. You're suggesting that this person is under surveillance for some unknown reason and they're a target. It doesn't go down well in court with magistrates. She or he will not like it, and you'll end up having egg all over your face if you use the term target in surveillance as a licensed private investigator, police officer or government investigator. So you play with this great little game where you separate these people left or right, real or fake, and you'll get a score at the end. Now, I've sped this up so it goes faster. Therefore, it's very hard to keep up with. Don't worry about what I've done. You want your score from what you do. Now, the link is in the description if you want to have some fun playing this game. Just click on it and you go in, and it will take probably 10 minutes all up with the time delays that they have, because it goes a lot slower in the game. Now, I've just sped it up to keep the interest. Now, here we go. I want to get my score now and see whether I got 100%. What did I get? My score is 41 out of 80, and that is excellent as far as I'm concerned. But they also tell you there how other people have scored. And then you go down and you do the next one.
That's it?
That's it. That's it.
So Max has sent a really good pair of games set down in the description. Really good fun. Test you out for your investigation capability. And anyone that scores better than me, I'll make them Private Investigator of the Year next week on Spy Curious. So I don't reckon you're going to beat 42 out of 80. It's a pretty amazing score. I say so myself. I can kid myself. So a couple of other things that are happening in the Brittany Higgins trial that's going on down in Canberra. Now, no one's dumping on Brittany, anything like that. It's just there are some particular matters that link back to what we teach in our program. Now, we don't actually teach this, but the judges allowed a lip reader to appear in person. So this person is totally deaf. He's a lip reader. They're going to fly him all the way out from Great Britain to Canberra to give evidence, because it's an unusual situation. And that lip reader is going to read the lips of the conversation between Bruce and Brittany as they enter security at Parliament House in Canberra. Now, how easy could it be? I mean, really, you just jump on the internet, look at the chart and match the lip movements to whatever the person's lips were doing at the time. You can do that at home. There's a third challenge for you. So you got 2 in the description, and you can watch the video from them entering Canberra at the same time. A plasterer in Melbourne has received a sentence of 22 years in a correctional facility for kidnapping his boss's 2 children. So he was a disgruntled worker. He decided to get even with his boss. He stormed his boss's house while his boss wasn't there and took the 2 children away from the wife, and then issued a ransom demand. Now, to the credit of the Victorian Police, and well done, Victorian Police, they very quickly found out who it was, located him and got the children back safely. 22 years for a stupid thing. He was upset, the disgruntled ex-employee, but that was something that never ever should have happened. Now, keep in mind, and you've heard me say it before, when a bomb's ticking or a child's being kidnapped, there's no rules of evidence. So the gloves come off in those situations. A man has been charged over a phishing scam. He bombarded Australians with 17 million fraudulent texts. So anyway, the police raided his premises, and they're undergoing forensic examination in all his computers and stuff, that sort of thing. And basically, he's got himself into a lot of strife. We'll come back to more of that later, but oops, sorry. Just lost where I put it. Down in Victoria, a senior police officer is on trial for allegedly indecently assaulting a junior colleague. Now, you've heard me speak about this before. What they do is they isolate them in a vehicle. and then they use a power imbalance to get sexual gratification about it. So this police officer, he's been accused of assaulting her in a car park after a party. Now, in Investigations Uni last week, we discussed parties, and this was a leaving party, as we spoke about last year on this same program with a lady in Parramatta who was a police officer who was horse drugged and then assaulted, sexually assaulted by another police officer in Parramatta in New South Wales. So the lady at the time, she complained about it, and naturally back in those days, the police immediately arrested her and interviewed her over the allegations of unlawful use of the police database. So they were victim blaming. That doesn't happen in the Victorian Police anymore, but this was 2005, and that's the way things went in 2005. But it's good to see that they've now corrected that. The big issue here is the power imbalance. It's like a teacher putting the hard words on a student or doing something inappropriate with a student. If you don't go along with it, you're going to fail your course. It's the police officer. If you don't go along with it, you're never going to get a promotion, or you're going to get all the difficult office work. That's what happens, and this guy's been charged with it. There's no result as yet. We don't know any result from it, so we're waiting to see. Yep. AFP agent arrested as well, so yeah, that'd be interesting. Not uncommon at all. All right, so other things in the news this week. What else have I got? The Brittany Higgins, back to Brittany Higgins. They interviewed Brittany's mum. Now, look at what they asked her about. When Higgins told the court she noticed, when Kelly Higgins told the court she noticed in March or April 2019 a change in her daughter Brittany's demeanour. Parents notice that kind of thing. Now, she noticed a change in her demeanour. Now, I don't know what she said there, she was withdrawn or whatever. But this is a classic investigation approach. Can you find out from other witnesses at the time if it really happened? If it really happened, what's something that indicates it might have? A change in a demeanour to a parent is a classic sign that there's something wrong with one of their children. And they know their children. They can read their children. Their children can't lie to them. So that's a classic thing coming out of the Brittany Higgins trial. So that's really interesting. Coming up next week, I'm going to go through the standards, the advertising standards of Australia, like we have done regularly for the last couple of years, where 250 advertisements have been complained about by the Australian viewing and reading public. So we'll go through those and review those next week, something to look forward to, I'm sure. What else is going on here, people? Oh, this is a beauty for investigators in the bush. All right. I did surveillance here. It's Let's Bay in Strawn in Tasmania. You can buy this affordable seaside fisherman's shack where time stands still. It's one bedroom, no toilet, has got running water and electricity, okay? And you can buy it for $250,000. I don't think it's worth $2,000, but you can buy it for a quarter. It's been advertised. And I actually went to Let's Bay and I had to go there and take a statement from someone. Now, what happened was mobile phones don't work in that area. There's no mobile phone coverage. They have a protocol. So there's 15 or 16 shacks at Let's Bay. And what happens, if you want to get in contact with a resident, you ring the local phone box. This doesn't get much more Australian than this in the bush, people. You ring the local phone box, and some resident that's outside gardening or walking past or walking their dog or looking for their lost cat or just returning from fishing will answer the phone and then go and get the person you want to speak to. How good is that? So that's beautiful. Let's Bay, it's Strawn in Tasmania, where you can buy that luxury waterfront shack for $250,000, and you can't swim in the water because it's so chemically infused from the mining tailings that you'll never be able to swim in it unless you cover yourself with penicillin. The Bitumen Bandit up in Tweed has gone to court for dishonestly obtaining property by deception in Tweed. Now, what they do is these Bitumen Bandits is they come and knock on your door and they say, oh, look, we'll fix your driveway for you, patch it up and all that. And they're very forceful. And they, target pensioners and older people and people they can manipulate. And so what they do is they only do half the job, or they quote low, and then they say, here's a bill for 10 times the amount. And it's a classic scam. It's a classic rip-off. So they've done that, been caught doing it up in Tweed Heads. And what the police have said, Tweed residents are warned the offenders may approach residents going door to door and speak with strong Irish, Scottish, or English accents, because they used to do it back home and they've transferred their fraud scam here to the northern rivers of New South Wales. So look out, people, for that. If you get approached by a Bitumen Bandit trying to scam you for your drive, or if you have elderly relatives or someone like that, make sure they're aware of it. So that one's happened at the Tweed Court this week. These ladies have been jailed or fined for a scam with horse racing. So they've been selling horse racing scam software or something like that on the Gold Coast. It was a complete fraud. The judge saw completely through it. And 2 of them are actually going to serve time in a correctional facility. And they're not young, so it won't be an easy time for them, and it's going to be a long time for them. But they got fined quite heavily for it, and they didn't make a lot of money from it. It wasn't exactly a genius type scam. So they pleaded guilty. They, less than $100,000. But anyway, there's a bit of a time served and a suspended sentence as well for that one on the Gold Coast, I think that was. Allied Universal are looking for you people. If you're a licensed investigator, they want you to go and work for them. And they want you in Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland. This is where I was in Melbourne this week, and I was looking out the window and there was a thunderstorm and it went on for a good 20 minutes. Great time down in Melbourne this week at the Federal Court. Really enjoyed it. Some of the other job vacancies, Warren Saunders in New South Wales are looking for factual investigators, so get in touch with them. Go to our Facebook page, people. There's a surveillance program specialist for Victoria with the Environmental Protection Agency. That's a great opportunity down there in Victoria with that job. It's a really good one for surveillance. Yeah, I will do an actual program on whistleblowing early 2024. We're only 3 weeks away from that. Good point. So let's go to our question of the week. This is our question of the week, people. Here we go. So our question says, if a statement or a recording or whatever ends up getting stolen and you don't know whose hands it has ended up in, maybe show some etiquette to the witness who's tried to help you. Okay, fair enough. So you had it stolen, your car was stolen, or your briefcase was stolen, or your computer or your laptop was stolen, and the person asking the question is thinking it's a courtesy that you should go back to them. Now, the person understands that we're civil investigators, so it isn't going to be a dramatic situation where the person that then needs to answer the question, do I offer a witness protection or not, and then spend 2 years of life waiting to be snatched and tortured by one of the dozens of dangerous people involved. So that's not going to happen with a simple car accident or a workplace slip, trip and fall, or a general insurance fire or something like that, home and contents, that sort of thing. It's not really going to happen. That it doesn't escalate to that kind of level. It's serious. I have actually interviewed a person who refused to go in the witness protection program. He was in a gymnasium in a resort, and he was using the lat pull down in the gym, and the chain wasn't secured properly, and he pulled the metal thing right down on top of his head, and the gymnasium had video of it, and the video came with the instructions, and he pulled it down on top of his head, and he just went like that, and he just put it down and walked off. And I was interviewing him, and he said to me after the interview, no, I'm not going to sue them, not interested in that, too busy. And he was actually in the witness protection program. It's not unusual. As a TAFE teacher, I've had 3 students who had their identities changed and their children's identities changed who were in the witness protection program because their husbands had accidents, got hit on the head, and they were going to kill them. So, look, it does happen, but it doesn't usually happen over a loss statement or a report or something like that. So the continuing question, I've been waiting to see if it comes up in the course, but I know it won't because police aren't even taught this. Well, yeah, this is the $1,995 course. In my $40,000 course, if you'd like to join that, get in touch with me after the program, 0407 593 881, and I'll make sure that that is in the $40,000 course and we'll cover that perfectly. But everyone's initial reaction is to look after the client, which makes sense. But even if all the resources in the world are spent to make sure the person is safe, the person needs to hear, are you okay? So what our investigator is expressing concern about is looking after the person who's provided that information. Look, it happens. You might go and interview someone. They could be 48 hours away from dying as a result of their injury. You don't know, right? And so there's all sorts of things that can come into play. And it is a courtesy to say, oh, as a result of this, I'm going to need to take another statement or something like that. I've never had it done. I've never done it myself. So if the witness' life affected by you mishandling your equipment, everyone makes mistakes, shit happens. For the love of God, go to the witness on that record and ask them if they are okay. We're a very passionate student, this one. So what I'm communicating here, mate, is can you please teach some damage control etiquette? Well, okay, here's an answer for you. We've really had it covered all the way through handling sensitive information, which is a unit in your qualification. There's videos on it in Investigations Uni on handling sensitive information and security of sensitive information. So first and foremost, all the information that you will deal with as an investigator should be adequately protected, both from a physical security point of view, also by having adequate software protection. Now, in the bad old days, everything was printed out, there's faxes, all that sort of thing. That's gone now, all right? Your home office should be physically secure and have adequate locks, security screens, alarms, safes. Clients are now checking these requirements before allowing you to do their work. So Suncorp, Metway, Allianz and similar will come in and inspect your home office before they allow you to go on their panel of investigators through the investigation agencies that you see advertised here on our Facebook page, right? They go and check that. And they also want to know that you are a member of an industry association as well. It's a professional industry association. So everything's in your favour here. You've got Investigations Uni as an Australian Security Academy student, free, and you can go back and watch those presentations anytime. You can even print yourself out a certificate, a statement saying that you have studied it. Okay, and you are also a member of an industry association. And investigation tools that are used in the field are a laptop, mobile phone, maybe a tablet, iPad, and a portable printer. All these devices should be encrypted. So there's going to have to be a password and some kind of encryption. Laptops using BitLocker for Windows systems, laptops and FileVault for Mac systems. There's all sorts of security that you can have on everything that you use. Okay, now some people use digital recorders still, and I do, I'm old fashioned. Other people use their phone, all right? Now, if I use my phone, I'm going to get 25 phone calls in an hour and a half interview. So you must have put it in aeroplane mode. I don't know. I haven't gone to iPhone school of how to use recordings. I'll have to go and watch that at the Mac shop one day myself personally. But you know, you're young, you latch onto this a lot quicker than me. Does a CCTV camera system count as an alarm system? My property has 16 cameras, every part of it covered. Yeah, it is. It's a warning system. Okay, so that's what it is. That's what it's designed to do. So yes, it is technically an alarm. So's a dog. Yeah, that's right. So it's a personal choice, but it's a security issue as well. Keep that in mind. In addition, hardware, device encryption. All devices should be secured using strong passwords and have biometric fingerprint readers. Every device I use has a fingerprint reader. So, that's a standard today. So anyone finds your laptop or finds whatever, their fingerprint should not allow to it. They're going to be highly skilled and are really good at getting these things to get past all this. Almost all client instructions now issued via email or over a case management system. So your original instructions, they don't go out with you. You've got to read them, you've got to know them, and you've got to know the areas and topics to explore. And don't forget, separate from those, you have your sheets of the questions to ask about the condition of the vehicle, the registration of the vehicle, the maintenance of the vehicle, the storage where the vehicle is stored. All that's given to you. Now, anyone finds them, they're just common questions, 150 questions that are asked of everybody, doesn't matter. But if they find the replies, that's different. So you don't take your instructions with you, but you can take your question cheat sheets. You learn those very quickly. The main area where there'll be security issues are when carrying and transporting investigators' notebooks, original witness statements, and copies of documents collected during the course of an investigation. These should be carried in a case of some sort which never leaves your possession. So a briefcase, a kind of document bag or something like that, it's got to go in there, all of them, and never leave your possession, never go out of sight. Okay, it's got to be with you at all times. So as a risk management issue, witnesses in civil investigations are generally dealing with rather mundane issues that do not have a high threat level. However, for those who are dealing with internal matters such as code of conduct allegations of bullying, harassment, discrimination and fraud allegations, these witnesses have the legal protection of whistleblowers legislation, protected disclosures legislation, etc., just like Joy just asked. And we're going to cover that in a future episode of Investigation Duty. So lastly, there should be no damage control, shit happens, or everyone makes mistakes if proper security protocols are followed. This is nothing new. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're following the process, policy and procedure that was given to you at your induction into that investigation agency and through your case management system. Doesn't get any easier than that. You don't have to make it up. You don't have to guess it. It's all provided to you with equipment that you're familiar with and you can use. Okay, so that's how it goes. My big warning to you, if anyone ever comes in to you in a meeting or somewhere like that, and they have one of these handcuffed to them, that's when you know you are in deep trouble. You have done something wrong, especially in government. Probably unlikely to happen in private investigations, but if someone comes in like this in government, you know you're in strife. That's a very, very serious situation. Yep, we'll go right into whistleblowing. I reckon we'll probably, like our recent statements, taking one that was a tri-series, we'll go into the whistleblowing one over time. So it will be quite comprehensive. I'm actually looking forward to it. It's changed recently, about 9 months ago, and I'm not right up with it, but I'm going to pick that up when we do that part of the program. Yeah, just the big issue with that police officer that's charged with 2005 sexual assault. He isolated that young police officer in a vehicle. That's my big warning. When you see that sort of thing going on, when they isolate you, particularly after a party or an event like that, that's where they try and get away with it. It's only your word against theirs. Okay, so be very aware of those situations, particularly if you're invited by someone in Victoria to go and do surveillance training. Don't go, all right? Do not go. They want to isolate you, separate you, your word against theirs. That's how the scam goes. So we've had lots of job vacancies, people. We've had a $250,000 one-room house without a toilet. If you ring up your witness on the telephone box to go and make an appointment to take a statement from them, which is kind of awkward. A lot of fun. Had a question today about diploma of government investigations. Do you deal with crime with the diploma of government investigations? Yes, you do. Everything that you're going to be doing as a manager of government investigations, support of force protection, Centrelink, ATO, that sort of thing, you're going to be doing in conjunction with other agencies. Here you can see the NDIS and the police working in tandem in the press, and that's what they do. So if you want to get your head around it, diploma of government investigations is management of statutory compliance, investigation, fraud control, or workplace inspection. Any one of those specialist areas. That's what diploma is. It's management and the interagency coordination. Certificate 4 is simply doing the investigations. So certificate 4 is the Indians doing the investigations, reporting to the chief who hold the diploma, who that chief then coordinates with all the other tribes, technically, from an old-fashioned Western point of view. People, we are going to be closed for our December Christmas on Wednesday, the 20th of December. We'll be back on 8th of January 2024, and we will be back that week with Investigations Uni, and we're talking about whistleblowing, all that sort of thing as well. I had also, just on a personal note, this week, this one came up, lost it before. No, it's not the Police Association, it's not that one, hang on, what have I done with it? Here we go, got to put it on. Sorry for the hold up, people. I'm too old. Didn't upload it when I should have. Where I live, in the Sanctuary Cove Security Weekly Update, veteran of 19 years of Sanctuary Cove, Sharon has won Security Guard of the Year, Security Person of the Year. Congratulations, Sharon. That was really big achievement. That's really great. I think here at the Australian Security Academy, we should give you a private investigator's coffee mug for that achievement, Sharon. I'll drop it off next week around at the Security Central for you. And we're really proud to see, people. The 19 years of working here, she's got recognition. Sharon Burke, lovely person, always happy, always cheery on the gate, always concerned about her residents and her clients at Sanctuary Cove Security, doing a great job at Sanctuary Cove Security. Good on you, people. I know you listen every week. It's great to see. Yeah, it was really good. But thanks very much, Chantel. It's really good to see Sharon win that. When I had my accident on my bike a couple of weeks ago, she rang me up straight away and asked if that was me because the CCTV missed it, which was good because then it can't go on the Sanctuary Cove Security Christmas party video lists. Sharon was very concerned about the bumps and bruises after I fell off my bike, but there was no problem, there was no issue, and security did come around and check on me because Sharon sent them as well. So that was great of it. People, we'll be back next week with the last episode of Spy Curious for 2023. It's been a very quick year. It's been a very enjoyable year. We've had a lot of fun. Great to see, really good to see Dr. Warren Dadle become Professor Warren Dadle this week. Really good news. His students are really going to benefit from his experience, and really pleased to see that. So thanks for watching, people. Thanks for checking in. We'll be back next week with our final episode, and see you then. Have a great week. Have fun during Christmas, and I hope you enjoy your time with your family. Goodbye. See you safe here. Have a great week. Good on you, Jack. Stay safe down there, mate. Watch out for those dumpers. Good on you, Joy. See you next week. See you next week, people. Thanks very much. Got to go out in my usual way. Forgot how I end these things.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.